Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to more Platinum Kaizo. We're doing some more Platinum Kaizo. I know, right? Unbelievable, but we are doing it. I'm just gonna finish getting my desktop organized real quick. All right. Let me pull up the attempt counter because I seriously doubt we're gonna get out of the lab on the first attempt. I mean, you never know, but it's not likely. Make sure that looks good. Alright, I should see chats. Alright, as you can see, we're gonna be reacting to more. Well, not reacting to more, but we're gonna be watching some more. You. Alright. Yeah. I'm back here. Alright. Let's go ahead and play.
Ballora is William's wife. This is a widely popular theory in which people believe that William Afton's animatronic Ballora was actually his wife stuffed into a costume.
What?
People believed this because every other person.
We're watching the FNAF iceberg, by the way.
Some sort of animatronic injury, such as Elizabeth Afton and the bite victim. Also,
was that the bite?
That William's wife died, and the reason we see nothing about her is because he is grief-stricken. To this day, there is no proof of a Miss Afton for William Afton. Bite of 87 versus Bite of 83. This refers to a debate in the community whether the bite that we see in the FNAF 4 minigame is the bite of 87 or the bite of 83. Most people believe
muryCuphead starting off strong today.
Until recently.
Oh no.
There's an Easter egg
speed
date 1983 on it, which made the majority of the fan base think it was the bite of 83. Bonnie gave Scott nightmares. Scott Cawthon considers the FNAF 1 Bonnie to be the scariest animatronic in the franchise, and he's right. Which may be unusual to some. Scott said this in an interview with Dawko, so his opinion could have changed, and this interview took place like a few years ago.
At least.
Bonnie is purple. When the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 trailer was found by the public after the game was released, there were many oddities in the trailer, and one of the biggest obviously being the lost first trailer, but one of them was about Bonnie being purple, and he looks purple because of the lighting in the trailer. Bonnie is more of a lavender color.
Leffa Sprite's really cute in this game though, I'm not even gonna lie.
Burntrap is an optional final boss, saying optional because he is the boss of the Afton ending. He only appears in the Afton ending. This form is likely the result of Vanny somehow downloading Williams' consciousness from the Freddy Fazbear virtual experience into his old hybrid abomination of an animatronic suit, endoskeleton, and the little remains of his corpse. This animatronic has appeared in Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach as a main antagonist, hidden and only alluded to throughout the game, and only seen in the Afton ending. Candy Cadet's stories. For the Candy Cadet minigame in Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Simulator, you wait for an accurate time to get a piece of candy from him. If you wait for a precise amount of time, you can get stories from him with a specific theme. The first about a boy who buys 5 kittens, but a snake eats them one by one per day, and the boy then kills the snake by cutting it up and sewing the kitten back together. The second story is about a man who gives 5 orphans toys and food, but a burglar kills them one night, so the guy stitches 5 orphans together and puts them into one single coffin. The third and final story is about a woman locked in a burning building with a key, with 5 doors having 1 kid in each. She melts the keys together thinking it would work on all doors, but it works on none of them. These stories all follow the theme of 5 things becoming 1, which could be thought to be the 5 kids William kills, but it is unconfirmed what these really refer to. Carl the Cupcake. Chica's Cupcake was the only character in FNAF 1 with an unknown name. This does eventually lead up to people giving the character a fan name. Some fans began calling him Carl, but that name soon caught on with every FNAF fan at the time. It was soon disproved by a Chica action figure, which included Carl, named as Mr. Cupcake. I like Carl better. This was one of the only cases that Scott had not adapted the fan-given name into the actual franchise, like Scrap Trap and Golden Freddy. Cassidy. Cassidy is the soul that people think is possessing Golden Freddy. Although people refuse to believe it, as they think there are two souls possessing Golden Freddy, Cassidy and the bite victim. In 2020, Markiplier released some FNAF merch, with one of them being a golden kazoo called Cassidy Kazoo. CD Plus. By holding CD and Plus, you can skip nights to 6 AM. This can be used in FNAF 1 and FNAF 2, but in FNAF 2 you have to hover over Toy Freddy's nose on the poster. But it was soon taken out of FNAF 3. People thought CD Plus was coming to FNAF 3, as on Phantom BB's teaser, it had a CD on his hat, but it was probably a coincidence. CG5. This is a person who creates FNAF songs. He does centrally make other songs about other games like Among Us and Poppy's Playtime, but CG5 does also create original music, and he has made some music for the popular Five Nights at Freddy's internet personality Dawko, the music being tailored to the franchise. Chipper & Sons Lumber Co. This is the game that Scott made before Five Nights at Freddy's. It follows the story of a lumber company ran by Chipper, a humanoid beaver, whose son, Tyke, has to do certain objectives ranging from collecting a certain amount of wood, talking to other characters, and building specific things, and playing mini games throughout the game. Scott made the game, but he got criticism on it, and the criticism was pretty much people saying that the characters move and look like animatronic characters. After that, he was thinking of quitting game development until he thought of the idea of Five Nights at Freddy's. Confusing timeline. I think that everybody in the FNAF community, or people who have heard of the franchise, know that the franchise has a very confusing timeline. Many people have tried to piece it together, but people argue about what goes where. MyAAA has even made some videos trying to piece together the lore, and many people just go with him because people know he researches for a while to get his information. Console and mobile ports. These are versions of the game in which the mechanics are changed to tailor to either mobile devices, which also include a store, and consoles, which make it so the different mechanics for the games correlate with different buttons on the controller. Some people in the community wouldn't usually prefer these versions over the original computer versions. Da Games. This is a person who has created many popular songs in the Five Nights at Freddy's community. They also do gameplay videos on games like Five Nights at Freddy's, Poppy's Playtime, and It Takes Two. Although his songs aren't as popular as The Living Tombstone, he is still well liked in the community. Dawko.
Who?
Dawko is prominent in the FNAF community for making charity streams where he plays FNAF games or fan games. When he hits a specific goal with the money people donate, he teases something. All the money he would make in the streams, he would give to the chosen charity for the stream. Dream Coma Theory. This entry is referring to a theory made by MyAAA in the video Game Theory FNAF, the clue that solves Five Nights at Freddy's, in which he believed that the whole franchise was taking place in the dreams of a child, which is really boring. I don't know why you would... No. He gave an example, the grandfather clock. The coma theory is a theory that states that the games take place while the child is in the hospital, in the time between the bite and the eventual removal of his front lobe. The biggest problem with this and Matt's original theory is that the kid dies in the end, and the sound of a heart monitor flatlining is heard signifying the death of the child. Endo 1 and spare heads staring at the camera. There's an Easter egg in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, in which on the backstage camera, the Endo 1 character and the decapitated animatronic heads of Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica all turn towards the camera with fully black eyes and small white pupils. The eyes look similar to when Bonnie stares into the same camera if he were to go into the backstage area. Failed Kickstarter. Scott started the Kickstarter before FNAF 1 was released. He tried to get money to further develop FNAF, but he got 0 backers and no money. It had many backer goals. Some of the most important ones were wallpapers, which are now considered lost media, and Scott would send you new versions of the game when something was updated. Fall Guys, Dead by Daylight, and Fortnite. Now, I know you're thinking this is FNAF Iceberg. It is. This is why it's relevant. These were games in which people began to speculate that FNAF would eventually collaborate with. People thought Springtrap was coming to Dead by Daylight, and people thought there would be multiple Fall Guys costumes, and people thought Freddy Fazbear skin was coming to Fortnite. Fan art. This definitely doesn't need a very long explanation. Fan art is an art which isn't official to the specific franchise.
Why is it on here?
This could be up there to be getting the most fan art, but people usually just draw fan art of the characters. Sometimes they might draw fan art of anything relating to Five Nights at Freddy's. Fan-given names being canonized. Many characters used to have no official name outside of the game files, leading fans to come up with their own names for them. Some of these names have grown popular enough to be used officially, including Golden Freddy, Phone Guy, Purple Guy, Withered Animatronics, Shadow Bonnie, Freddles, and Scraptrap. There are some characters that actually had original names prior to fans just giving them names, such as Golden Freddy, who was actually originally called Yellow Bear until Markiplier made a video called Was That Golden Freddy? Five Nights at Freddy's Part 2. Fan songs.
Finally, I get him a chance. I never thought I'd live to see the day.
Make songs about that franchise. Five Nights at Freddy's being one of the most popular when it comes to fan songs. Many people have made songs tailored to this specific franchise, such as The Living Tombstone, Daco, and DA Games. Fazbear Fanverse Initiative. This was something started by Scott where he would give money to developers of the most popular fan games to make new ones for the series. Five Nights at Candy's 4, The Pop Goes Evergreen, One Night at Flumpty's 3, Joy of Creation Ignited Collection, and FNAF Plus are the games which are being developed or have been developed. Scott also said they will get mobile ports of their games and may or will get merch. Fazbear Writes. This was a series of books which had 3 different stories in them, with one connecting story at the end of each book. There were 12 books in the series, with the 12th not being released solo, and you'd have to buy a 12-book box set to get the 12th. This series later got adapted into a graphic novel series, and the first book was released on July 2nd, 2021. Five Nights at Candy's. This is the most well-known of all the Five Nights at Freddy's fan games. This fan game was created by Emil Mako and is set in the same universe as the official Five Nights at Freddy's series. When this game was released, it came with great feedback, extremely positive, and Five Nights
I'll try to run it. Why not?
tied in reviews with FNAF World on GameJolt.com. There was a Reddit post done by Emil Mako, which was a beta version of Candy the Cat without a tie. Some people in the community named this as Sugar and regarded it as a hoax. Five Nights at Freddy's AR Special Delivery. Developed by Illumix, this is an AR game released on Android and iOS. The aim of the game is to defeat the animatronics in an augmented reality situation.
That's the aim of the game.
These animatronics will get you XP to get stuff from the store and new animatronics. Throughout the game, players subscribe to the Fazbear Entertainment's brand new Fazbear Funtime service and get their favorite animatronics on demand. Due to unfortunate circumstances, the visiting animatronics malfunction and attack subscribers instead of entertaining them. Illumix has updated the game many times with bug fixes, new characters, and new skins, such as Clown,
Yo, Salt, what's going on, dude?
But some skins
You back, my dude? Good luck with the run. Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's good to be back.
First of these was actually
It is good to be back,
released as
I will be honest.
that being Freddy Frostbear.
Got myself addicted to KAIZO IRONMON again.
Developed by Steel Wool Studios, this is the VR game of FNAF. It is a collection of classic and original minigames set in the Five Nights at Freddy's universe. There is a total of 40 playable minigames in the base game, with 3 of them being featured in the demo. After completing the minigames, players can replay them again in a nightmare mode of some sorts, which cranks up the difficulty and distraction in every game. Upon fully completing the game, players are treated to an end which expands upon the lore of the games. The game introduced a key character, Malhair, otherwise known as Glitch
I
Trap.
rarely ever get past Gardenia, but ever since I came back, I've gotten past Gardenia twice, which I still can't even believe, to be honest.
Game, one being Curse of the Dreadbear DLC, and the other one being a non-VR mode. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. Security Breach was a video game in the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise which started development in 2020. The game was released in 2021 and was a celebration in the community until the many glitches were discovered. The game follows the plot of a child named Gregory who is locked in and hides inside Glamrock.
Do you see the small vent on the floor?
Animatronic band members.
Have you ever heard of Among Us, Gregory?
Because of many glitches found in the game, like texture mess-ups, rendering mess-ups, and animations not working, and many more. FNAF 1's protagonist is the killer. This was a fairly popular theory back in FNAF's heyday, with the main evidence being it's me.
Brr.
It also provided a good explanation to why the animatronics were attacking you. With each new game, however, it became less and less plausible as new night guards became revealed due to paychecks or pink slips. FNAF 2 is a prequel. Self-explanatory. It comes before FNAF 1 in the timeline, but it was released after FNAF 1 in the real world. It's just what we were talking about earlier with the timeline being very confusing. FNAF in real life. On YouTube, kids' channels used to make videos when FNAF was most popular about FNAF characters visiting them in real life. The most popular one was Foxy, where he can be seen running down a house hallway. Most of the videos were made by a kids' channel called Bubblegum Monsters. FNAF movie set photos. Many photos of the set of the FNAF movie have been posted on sites such as Twitter, and many different things were leaked, like a pizzeria sign and the pizzeria itself and a Freddy animatronic. FNAF referenced in Deltarune. In Deltarune, at Ice Pizza, on the top right, you can speak to a character who says, "Purple guy, man, that guy, you gotta." This is a reference to FNAF, as it is near a pizza place and saying the killer's name from the series. Toby Fox denies this being a FNAF reference and didn't know who Purple Guy was.
Purple guy.
FNAF will be real in 52 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's a classic meme.
In which a frame of Freddy from the FNAF 1 trailer being extremely low quality with the impact font text, FNAF will be real in 52 minutes on it. Sometimes it's 52 seconds though. That's literally it. FNAF World. A couple months after FNAF 4 was released, Scott Cawthon posted a teaser to the Scott Games site in which it featured most of the characters from Five Nights at Freddy's 1 to 4 and had the text "Thank you" on top. This was basically saying that the franchise was finished and there were no more games after this. This was false when people started seeing adventure animatronics, a name not known at the time, replacing the canonical counterparts. Later, with the release of FNAF World, a 3D adventure game which you fight numerous enemies to gain stronger and stronger characters to play as. There are many canonical endings such as the clock ending, and many fans dislike this game, even Scott himself, is because of the sudden change in genres in the franchise and many more reasons. In fact, Scott even said in his Doco interview, when he was asked about FNAF World, he said the problems with FNAF World, that's a completely different interview, it's an entire other interview. There was a DLC released for this game named FNAF World Update 2, in which it included most Halloween edition characters, Anim Dude, an 8-bit purple guy sprite, and characters from some of Scott's older games, and this also includes a new final boss. FNAF World on Steam and mobile stores. When Scott had first released FNAF World, he put it on Steam, GameJolt, and mobile. The Steam and mobile variants of FNAF World were quickly taken down for being disliked by fans, and this left GameJolt variant the only official way to download the game. FNAF X Cloak. This was a collaboration between Five Nights at Freddy's and Markiplier and Jacksepticeye's merch company, Cloak. It was mostly hoodies and shirts, but there were some other things as well. People weren't too happy with the designs because they thought they were a bit lackluster and plain. FNAF Plus. Five Nights at Freddy's Plus is an upcoming official non-canon remake reimagining of the original Five Nights at Freddy's developed by Fiznum, the developer of other fan games like Shadow Over Freddy's and Porkchop's Horror Show. This will be the only fan game which won't be free on GameJolt. Foxy did the bite of 83.
Never come out. You can tell this is a bit dated.
Foxy could have been the real culprit for the bite of 83, as he is out of order throughout the first game.
I didn't get the fishing item, did I?
That pitches into this
Yeah,
is his jaw is extremely wide open, more than any other character besides Golden Freddy. But Foxy's toy counterpart, Mangle, is theorized now to be the true culprit of the bite of 83. Foxy is a good guy. This is a very old theory in the Five Nights at Freddy's community.
Oh no, I got it. Okay.
In which people believe that Foxy was a good guy. Basically, people believe this because he doesn't actually jump scare you and only leans into the door and you just die of a heart attack. It is regarded as one of the most popular Five Nights at Freddy's theories. Foxy's Two Hands, FNAF's 2nd anniversary. For Five Nights at Freddy's 2nd anniversary, Scott posted images of the characters in development phases. One was a Freddy without a suit torso, one was a Bonnie taking his suit head off and note the black bow tie, and one of Chica holding Winking Mr. Cupcake, or Carl, and 2 images of Bonnie and Chica in their jump scare positions, and one of Springtrap with his inside torso and his head exposed. The most peculiar one being Foxy, which has him without tears on his suit and torso, and he also has 2 hands instead of an endoskeleton hand and a hook. Fredbear and Ultimate Custom Night. When you turn all characters off in Ultimate Custom Night and have Golden Freddy on 1, you start the game and go on the cameras to start collecting Faz coins. When you have 10, you can buy the Death Coin. When Golden Freddy appears in your office, click the Death Coin and get a jump scare from Fredbear. Freddy and Friends on Tour. This is a cartoon created by Steel Wool to tease up the release of Security Breach. It was a Scooby-Doo style animation. In each episode, Freddy would ask Foxy to be a part of the band with Chica and Bonnie. Foxy would then chase them, running through the doorways in the hallways from Scooby-Doo. They would then unmask Foxy to be an endoskeleton. Each episode would then finish with the band performing, and then a teaser for one of the characters. After the first episode was released on YouTube, a website was created called securitybreach.com, which would display the most recent episode released, and the website is further explained in another entry. Freddy did the bite of 83. Due to the handprints on Freddy's eye and bottom jaw, people thought it was the handprints of a crying child trying to get his head out of Freddy's jaws. The handprint was then revealed to only show William putting the animatronic suit heads onto the kids' dead bodies. Freddy Fazbear's declining relevance. Despite being the titular character, Freddy has been getting less and less relevant, with each new installment being overshadowed by his golden counterpart or Springtrap or Baby every time. This finally changed in Security Breach when he became a major character and a gameplay mechanic. Freddy is a girl. This is a theory made by fans in which people think that Freddy is a girl. This is because in FNAF 1, Freddy peeks out of the girl's toilet instead of the boy's toilet. This was debunked by the gravestones in Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Simulator, in which Freddy's graves says Gabriel, but some people still think he's a girl, as both genders can use that name. Friday Night Funkin' mods. People make mods for the extremely popular rhythm game, Friday Night Funkin'. Many Five Nights at Freddy's inspired mods have you beatboxing against the main animatronics from each game. The game is sometimes counted as a week, and they usually always reference lore in games. There aren't many mods actually being made in the death of Friday Night Funkin', and there are some YouTubers who use FNAF mods to get views on their videos, thus earning them more money. Funko Backlight Animatronics. Funko has a line of merchandise related to FNAF called Backlight Animatronics, and they are bright and colorful versions of the animatronics, but sadly don't actually glow in the dark. The Blacklight animatronics have never made an appearance in the video game series, but the 4 main Blacklight animatronics were once originally planned to be included in Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted. They just go unused in the files.
Huh, I didn't know
Funko
that.
leaks. There have been some occasions where Funko has accidentally leaked FNAF merch. They have mostly leaked Security Breach, as they once leaked all of the characters' names and the main glam rock animatronics designs. These accidental or purposeful leaks that Funko had done had caught them into some controversies with the Five Nights at Freddy's community and has led to Funko having their Five Nights at Freddy's license revoked, but then regained. Funko stealing fan designs. People have been saying that fan art or designs have been taken by Funko for their merchandise. 2 of the most iconic moments of this being the arcade final of Fredbear and Foxy in plush forms, which is just the basic Fredbear plush model used in SFM videos, and the Foxy plush was taken from the animation of FNAF plushies playing FNAF 4. The second one being the Twisted Chica pop, as it had been an unused look of the Twisted Chica done by PeepoClap. Game theorists, MyAAA. Hello internet, welcome to Game Theory. MyAAA that was my MyAAA impression, by the way. MyAAA is a more prominent figure in the Five Nights at Freddy's community. He has made a collective 56 videos on the topic of Five Nights at Freddy's. First being Game Theory, Five Nights at Freddy's scariest monster is you. In 2014, the latest being Game Theory, FNAF, the clue that almost solves everything, FNAF Security Breach, in 2022. Glamrock Freddy talks about Among Us.
Among Us, Gregor.
This was a meme in which Glamrock Freddy would notice a vent and tell Gregory to vent. He then goes on to ramble about the hit 2020 game Among Us. This was getting so popular that the voice actor of Funtime Freddy, Glamrock Freddy, and Fredbear, Kellen Goff, dubbed over it. This was
I love that
shared
video.
on Taco's FNAF meme review and got even more popular from there. Golden Freddy is Fredbear. This is a theory in which people believe that the characters Golden Freddy and Fredbear are the same characters. This would only make sense back in the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 days, as we hadn't seen Fredbear, but we had seen Golden Freddy. Five Nights at Freddy's 3 had influenced this, as Fredbear appears in Stage 1 minigame with Spring Bonnie, and his hat was black, so was his bow tie. This was later debunked in Five Nights at Freddy's 4, in which Fredbear appears, but instead of a black hat and bow tie, they were purple. This was even further debunked in Ultimate Custom Night with the Fredbear Easter egg. Golden Freddy is in the kitchen. This is a fan theory which was started by the game theorists, in which it is believed that as you don't actually see Golden Freddy anywhere in the pizzeria, it is thought that he is sat in the kitchen camera, which you cannot see. As Golden Freddy is never seen until the poster is activated, and the kitchen camera is always cut out, it makes it the perfect theory to be for Golden Freddy's situation in FNAF 1. This is believed by a huge amount of fans, as it does make sense. Golden Freddy is possessed by 2 souls. This is a theory which states the idea of 2 spirits, the Bite of 83 victim and the black-haired missing girl named Cassidy, both haunted Fredbear. The Golden Freddy is a combination of their 2 spirits. This got widely believed after the game theorists had made a video on this particular theory. Golden Freddy poster. There is a poster in the West Hall corner of an image of Freddy Fazbear performing and facing the camera. Sometimes it can rarely change to a picture of Freddy in the same location, but instead ripping his own head in half and missing an eye. What's even more rare than that is it changing to a close-up picture of Golden Freddy's head. and this will cause Golden Freddy to spawn in the office as soon as the monitor is pulled down. Hacked font. This is the font used in the Five Nights at Freddy's logo that is seen on the games, merch, and the book's front covers. Help Wanted, Curse of Dreadbear DLC. Steel Wool had added the DLC before Halloween named as Curse of Dreadbear.
Razor Pill, crap.
It has many different Halloween-themed minigames such as Corn Maze and Trick or Treat minigame. It has also introduced new antagonists such as Grim Foxy and Coarse Dreadbear. Some minigames had set the release dates after the actual DLC released, and DLC in the end actually has nothing to do with the lore in the FNAF timeline besides Glitch Trap's appearance. Hidden minigames. Hidden minigames are Easter eggs in the Five Nights at Freddy's series. They appear in FNAF 2, 3, 4, Sister Location, Pizza Simulator, Help Wanted, and Security Breach. They all tailor to a piece of the lore, such as the Bite of 83 or 87, depending on what you believe, or when Elizabeth gets scooped into Circus Baby. And they play the most prominent role in Five Nights at Freddy's 3 because they help you get each ending. Hurricane Utah. This is where the FNAF games and books take place, the most iconic being the original. I am still here. This was a teaser in which the sentence I am still here was left on the screen, which some of Springtrap's face on the right. Some people say that the Springtrap model used for that teaser was a beta design as it looks different than the in-game design. This has not been proven or denied. Ian and Braden Coffin. These are Scott's children. Scott lets them playtest the FNAF games before release. A fun fact, Scott dared one of his children to beat each challenge in Ultimate Custom Night, and when he completed one, he would get $20. His son went on to beat every single challenge, running Scott out of his money. I think he earned like $300 that night. But it was really good because he ended up exposing a lot of bugs and glitches in the game that would not have been caught otherwise. Illumix skins. This refers to the redesigns of characters which tailor to a specific theme chosen by Illumix. And the themes are usually just randomly chosen, but some are chosen for special or seasonal events, such as Christmas and Valentine's Day. Their first skin was actually its own standalone characters, which is Freddy Frostbear, as he has his own standalone character slot and mechanic. You would have to buy them from the shop menu. It's Been So Long. The Five Nights at Freddy's 2 song, Living Tombstone FNAF 2, was a song released by the musician Living Tombstone, which is based off of Five Nights at Freddy's 2. The art style is based off of an arcade screen which tells the story of a mother leaving her child behind at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, and the child gets killed and is alluded to being placed in a Golden Freddy animatronic suit. It became widely popular with over 200 million views. JJ. This was a popular Easter egg in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, in which a purple and blue Balloon Boy variant was hidden under the bottom right of the desk. When Five Nights at Freddy's 4 Halloween edition was released, YouTuber GoMotion edited a picture of Nightmare Balloon Boy slumped in his chair as Nightmare JJ, and it is said is one of the most believable hoaxes to date. After that, FNAF World was released and JJ got so popular that they gained a slot in the character roster. JJ's last appearance was in Ultimate Custom Night as a recolored Balloon Boy. Joy of Creation. The Joy of Creation is a fan game inspired by the fourth installment and by the Boogeyman video game. The lore involves Scott and his family being attacked at their house by ignited animatronics, so it takes a different spin on the fan game scene. When it's referring to the Joy Creation fan games, most people immediately think of the Joy Creation Reborn or the Joy Creation Story Mode. Orneza, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the last name, makes art for the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. She is most known for making art for the novel trilogy, which turned into teasers and posters for ScottGames.com. She also did some art for Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Simulator, which can be found on the title screen and in other places, and in Fun Chica's pictures in Ultimate Custom Night. Lolbit. Lolbit was an Easter egg character as their head was made only to replace Ennard's mask in the primary control module. This stayed fitting until the DLC came out for Sister Location's Custom Night, where Lolbit got bumped up to be the antagonist to the Night Guard. This treatment was also given to other characters like Yendo. The mechanic with Lolbit was for whenever Lolbit's Please Stand By logo appeared on the screen, simply type LOL. Lolbit had also appeared as a character in Dee Dee's roster in Ultimate Custom Night, and the mechanic was just a copy over from the Custom Night DLC of Sister Location. Lolbit has actually gotten popular enough to be more favorite than Funtime Foxy. Mangle's gender. There's a dispute in the community in which people are unsure if Mangle is a boy or a girl. People have been arguing about this because of Mangle's design. Mangle has red cheeks like Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie, and Balloon Boy, which makes people believe that she is a boy, but also has lipstick and eyelashes like other girl characters, which makes people believe that he is a girl. But some people are believing that she is both. Markiplier. Mark Edward Fischbach is the most popular FNAF figure. He basically began the FNAF franchise by making a video on it called Scariest Game in Years, Five Nights at Freddy's Part 1. It is his most popular gameplay video to date with over 100 million views, and he also started with a load of memes and edits such as, "Was that the bite of 87? McFarlane Figures. This refers to rip-off LEGO figures by McFarlane. They make sets which usually have 1 to 2 characters in them, and the sets are usually small. And they look a lot like LEGO sets until you realize the illegal building techniques, and the sets usually go for a lot of money. Michael Don't Leave Me Here. An exploited voice clip from Squimpus McGrimpus's FNAF VHS series, in which it's
Yo,
William
Matsu,
shouting
welcome
to
in.
Michael not to leave
Thanks
him
for
on the
joining. I
sofa.
appreciate it.
It has recently been exploited in the meme culture and the FNAF community. Mr. Hippo's Stories. In Ultimate Custom Night,
Ooh,
when you
level
try to
29 just in
it
time
will
for
take you
Mars
to the usual
fight.
test
Alright, wish me
screen,
luck.
But then he starts talking to you like a lot of characters
Good
do,
luck.
but he doesn't actually stop.
Bidoof!
Characters of Mr. Hippo begin to fade in, some even overlapping.
Wow, that
He
was
tells different stories, usually about him and
like
Orville Elephant.
one of the
which don't
easiest
mean anything
Mars
to
fight I've
actually
ever
do.
had in my entire
If
life.
you try to close
That
one
was
open the
pathetic.
game, it'll just continue, and you have to sit through them until the end. Name debates.
Name debate, name debate, name debate, name debate.
On in the community, and well-known examples
I'm sorry.
being MYAAA or Glitch Trap, with MYAAA being the canon name and Glitch Trap being the name many fans do call him.
I got
Most
something
famous
I
are
gotta
the
do, but I'm gonna
Marionette
lurk on mute.
and
No
the
problem,
Puppet,
I
Marionette
appreciate
being
it.
a canon name and the puppet being a fan-given name. There are many more examples, but those are the most famous ones. Nose Honk. This is an Easter egg, which
No.
has been an addition to every Five Nights at Freddy's game besides Security Breach. In FNAF 1, it can be found on the nose of Freddy Fazbear in the Celebrate poster. In FNAF 2, just press the nose of the toy Freddy on the poster. In FNAF 3, click the nose of the Freddy on the poster above the box. In FNAF 4, simply click the Freddy plush on the bed. In FNAF 6 location, click the nose on the Fredbear plush. This is only possible on Custom Night. In Pizza Simulator, click Helpy's nose above the monitor. In Ultimate Custom Night, click the Freddy plush's nose. In Help Wanted, tap Freddy's nose on the title screen when you load in. And in AR, click Freddy's nose on the shop menu. Novel Trilogy. These are the first books which were released under the franchise of Five Nights at Freddy's. They're actually important to the lore, as many character names were revealed in this series, such as Charlie, William Afton, and many others. These book covers usually have a specific character, the Silver Eyes having Freddy Fazbear, Twisted Ones having Nightmare, and the Fourth Closet having Funtime Freddy. The Twisted
Interesting.
Ones having Nightmare on the cover is ironic because he never actually appears in the book. One Night at Flumpty's. One Night at Flumpty's is an indie point-and-click horror fan game series developed by Jonachrome. Instead of it being 3D and using Chuck E. Cheese-like animatronics, it uses cartoon characters, one being an egg with arm and legs, and there are other varieties such as that. It is also more comedic in decorations around the office or building.
The Office.
Original Ultimate Custom Night poster. While Scott was developing Ultimate Custom Night, he posted teasers to show off the roster as he added characters to it. But fans noticed some weird characters popping up in the rosters, such as Candy Cadet and Adventure Indo 1. These were eventually replaced by Withered Chica and Withered Bonnie, which were fan favorites, which made fans to be more excited. There are also some characters that were split up into 2 character slots, such as Nightmare Freddy with the Freddys, and the Trash and the Gang. They were eventually
The
combined together into
Gang?
single character slots to make space for more important characters. Pop Goes. This is a fan game which was created on June 26, 2016, and is now regarded as the second most popular FNAF fan game.
I literally know
behind Five
nothing
Nights at
about
Candy's, of course.
how it
It
goes.
was
I
originally
really
formed
know
by a
nothing about
subreddit
it.
called r/2124, and was later formed privately by an entire team of people as an official FNAF fan game. It is a fan game of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, and its story takes into account only the first 3 games of the series, the most famous developer of the series being Kane Carter. Purple Guy in the minigame sections.
Purple
Purple
guy.
Guy can appear in the minigame sections in different games. He can appear in the Go 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 minigame in FNAF 2, in which he kills 5 children who Foxy should have saved. He also appears in the FNAF 3 Death minigames, in which he dismantles each animatronic when they reach a blocked-off door. The most well-known minigame he appears in is the final minigame of FNAF 3, in which you play as a spirit and follow William until he climbs into a spare spring bodysuit and dies. r/Five Nights at Freddy's. This is an official subreddit for the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. It is used for news and community posts, but developers for fan games like to post teasers. And Scott usually likes to post updates on games or developments. If you want your upcoming fan game or fan art to be seen by many people, just post it to the subreddit. Rare screens. These are Easter eggs, which are unique pictures of a character or other thing. They are usually put in the games for lore, but some are not needed, such as the one of Molten Freddy, which was a random string of numbers over it, and nobody knows what it's
come
used
back
for.
to me.
Some are more important, such as one of Lefty, which
Oh
shows
my
us the puppet
lord.
is inside Lefty.
Bro's
Another
thick.
important one is the sister location minigames. It is framed as a platformer like Mario Bros, then having to go back to the beginning and see Elizabeth get scooped by a circus baby. Roblox and Minecraft remakes. People would try to remake the games in Roblox and Minecraft, and in Roblox, people would try to make their own version of the game or make a roleplay game to tailor to a specific game or just characters in general. And in Minecraft, people would just remake the maps from the games or go the extra mile and code something specific. Rule 34 art. When you have a fan base, there will always be people who will be into sexualizing the characters in the franchise that the fan base is a fan of. RWQFSFASXC. This is an Easter egg in FNAF 2. A black version of Toy Bonnie with
what?
and teeth will stand at the left side of your office. Staring at him will make your game crash. And he appeared in FNAF World as one of the many playable characters. His most recent appearance was in FNAF AR, in which he guards the Remnant. Sanchi versus Funko. This is a debate where people think either Funko is better at making FNAF merch or Sanchi is better at making FNAF merch. I mean, it's a weird debate. Most people say Sanchi is better because their plushies looking more accurate to the in-game plushies and making merch which looks like it came straight out of the in-game universe. And Funko isn't the fan favorite mainly because of their Chica plush and Ballora plush. Sanchi's FNAF logo. For the merch Sanchi had manufactured, they created a logo for the franchise. You've most likely seen it. Each main character lined up at the top above the text Freddy Fazbear's Pizza with the tagline where fantasy and fun comes to life. For the re-release of their FNAF plushies, they scrapped the original logo and used the more modern FNAF logo created by Scott. Scott Cawthon. Scott Braden Cawthon is the developer of Five Nights at Freddy's series and many other games, which are based around Christianity. He has created a huge community on the internet, and children and adults alike. Scott retired somewhere around June 10th because of donating to, anti-LGBTQ stuff.
Cawthon kind of looks like he could play Willy Wonka.
Scott's donations to live streams. When someone from the Five Nights at Freddy's community, usually Daco or MatPat, streams, it would be for a charity, such as St. Jude. Scott would usually come to the stream to donate a huge amount of money to the cause, but then he would just use the name Anonymous to keep himself hidden, and people usually clock in that it is him instantly. The highest he has been known to donate is $50,000. ScottGames.com. This was the site that Scott mainly used to upload teasers for the upcoming games. The logo on the site had been changed to many different vibrant colors or colored depending on the event, like Halloween, where it would go yellow and orange. Scott Games had a feud with the source code of the site FNAF World, Scott's secondary site, and right now, both sites have gone dark. Security breach character leaks. Once Scott had allowed Funko to make Five Nights at Freddy's security breach merchandise, someone had leaked a sheet which contained the designs for the Glamrock animatronics and their names. People were obviously enraged by this and said that the anticipation for the release of FNAF Security Breach was ruined because of this incident. Security Breach delays. Security Breach was delayed many times for remodeling, fixing, editing, re-recording voice lines, and many other things. It had taken Steel Wool 2 full years to get Security Breach out to the public, which made people have low standards about the game as they weren't happy with the amount of time it took to release it. Security Breach glitches. As we've seen from many gameplay videos, most prominently Markiplier's and Jacksepticeye's, Security Breach is extremely buggy. The thing that is most buggy is Glamrock Freddy as a whole. You can be seen T-posing, walking on air, and saying the wrong voice lines, and just a host of other things. It's a disaster. Shadow Freddy. This is an Easter egg in FNAF 2 in which a purple or dark version of the Withered Golden Freddy can be seen in Withered Bonnie's position in Parts and Service. He then appears in FNAF 3 as he slumps against the left wall near the door. His most recent appearance is in FNAF World, where he is one of the many playable characters. In FNAF 2, when you look at him for too long, he will crash your game. Shared voice actors. Some characters in the franchise are voiced by the same voice actors. A good example being
Yo,
Cullen
DG,
Dog,
running?
voicing Fredbear and
Almost. We gotta beat
Customer,
Gardenia
and
first, but
Funny
after we
Freddy in
beat
Sister
Gardenia,
Location.
hopefully we'll
Another
be
being
running.
Joe Goddett, who voices Mr. Hippo, Funtime Foxy, and Rockstar Foxy, all in Ultimate Custom Night. Showtime songs and renders. In Help Wanted's files, you can find renders of Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy singing. There's also a Showtime song compiled in with it. This is the first time that some of the characters got voice lines. These will play when you press a Showtime button, but the button was hidden in the game. Sparky the Dog. This is most likely the first Five Nights at Freddy's hoax. It was posted to Reddit back when Five Nights at Freddy's had its first blow-up, and it was of a supposed screenshot of a backstage camera but with an animatronic peeking through the crack of the door. It was of a dog animatronic, with you only being able to see its face in a small section of the right hand. It had become a community favorite. Squimpus McGrimpus VHS tapes. Squimpus McGrimpus has made some VHS-style videos in FNAF. It usually starts off normally and gets scarier and freakier the more you watch, his most iconic ones being the Night Security Training video and Fazbear Entertainment video manual. These have been reacted to by many different popular Five Nights at Freddy's YouTubers, and even some people who haven't played any of the games from the franchise but know of the phenomenon. Stars. You can unlock stars by completing certain challenges in the FNAF games. You might be able to get them from beating Night 7, beating Nightmare, or whatever 20 mode, etc. These are obtainable in FNAF 1, 2, 3, 4, and Sister Location. As an extra piece of trivia, in FNAF 1 you can actually hold down CD1 to unlock the first star and CD2 to unlock the second star. Steel Wool versus Illumix. This is a debate in the community in which people think either Steel Wool Studios is better at making games or Illumix is better at it. People usually say Steel Wool because they can make a game for VR and mobile, Five Nights at Freddy's VR Help Wanted, and console, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. But people don't usually say Illumix because they can only make a FNAF game for a phone, but it's an AR game. Survive the Night. Survive the Night was a song created by Mando Pony in 2014 after FNAF 2's release. It's themed around FNAF 2 and many animations have been created around the song. Mando Pony has created many other popular and iconic FNAF songs such as Just Gold and Balloons. The Box. At the end of FNAF 4's Night 8, the box can be seen for the first time in the franchise.
Went ahead and forgot Ember over Focus Blast because Powder Snow and Ember can both do super effective against grass types, and Powder Snow is better because it can freeze as opposed to just burning.
With the release of FNAF World, there was unused texture of the files of an
But I really just wanted to Focus Blast for coverage,
which shows that it was meant to be opened in FNAF World, but later scrapped for unknown reasons. Later, the box appeared in the alien form in Security Breach Fury's Rage, with the inside of the head having many different things from FNAF 4 inside of it. The Desolate Hope. The Desolate Hope is a game made by Scott.
What about Shed?
It is a Metroidvania
Oh crap!
top-down view
I completely forgot about Shedinja.
stuff like that. It falls
Oops,
under a lot
well,
of genres,
let's
like
hope we don't run into him.
game top-down
I
view
completely
shooter,
forgot about
games
Shedinja.
like that. You can go around to a world taken over by robots and defeating different bosses throughout the game. And your character is a walking coffee pot who is famous enough to appear in FNAF World Update 2, and also was an Easter egg in Five Nights at Freddy's VR Help.
Alright, well we got the Gardenia fight. This is probably where we're gonna lose, so...
FNAF 3's game mode. Five Nights at Freddy's movie. This is a movie adaptation of the video game franchise Five Nights at Freddy's. It is being created by a movie studio called Blumhouse Productions, and they are also famous for Halloween, Happy Death Day, and The Purge. There have been many updates from the creator of the movie, and many people have created fake trailers and
why is the berry not
posters
showing up on
to
the
indicate that
tracker?
The game was released, but now we have
That's
a
weird.
teaser trailer out, and it is coming out October 27th, 2023. I am very excited. The Five Nights at Freddy's ride. This was a ride started by Sally Dark Rides, and it was going to be a ride in which you sat in a golf cart and got toured around the pizza place with a flashlight. Animatronics will jump scare you, and you need to deflect them with the flashlight. People think it has been canceled as there have been no news about it for months as of May 2022. The Freddy Files. This is a series of books in which they would give you a breakdown of each game in the series.
What the heck? The tracker's like
and also
Frozen.
a breakdown of the
Tracker's literally frozen.
series. The second installment of the series, the
I'll
Freddy
refresh
Files
the
updated
tracker.
edition, went to some hot water as it had many errors. And
I'll
new
refresh the
edits
tracker
by
once
fans, also
I
including
finish
action
this
figure
gym
heads.
battle. But that's weird.
The Freddy
I don't know why the
Files
tracker's frozen
fixed
like
this
that.
by using Ultimate Custom Night mugshots. The Living Tombstone. This is the most popular FNAF music person who creates songs about FNAF. He has stopped creating songs now, with the most recent one being about Sister Location. Their song, Five Nights at Freddy's one song, The Living Tombstone, is the most popular Five Nights at Freddy's
Alright,
video.
gym fight, let's go.
The Walton Files. The Walton Files is a series of VHS tapes, which is a recording of a burger diner called Bond's Burgers. This is an alternate reality game set across YouTube, and it has its own website. It has managed to gain itself a popular audience, and some even in the FNAF community. The animatronics in the series are haunted by the souls of different central characters of the series.
Yeah, we lost.
Also haunted the tapes. His lore is easier to understand from a newer perspective, and many fans compared it to the likeness of the main Dallas
Yeah,
catalog.
Gardenia
This
sucks.
VHS
I
series
wasn't
is also
expecting to
based
win
around
that.
a FNAF fan game called Welcome to Bond's Burgers, where there are many YouTube videos explaining it better, so you can look those up.
Your config file is corrupted or is from an older version of Emotes. What the heck is going on? I've never got that error message before. Hold on. What's going on? Why did it reset all my controls? Are you kidding me? Should I get a new version of BizHot? Bro, what the world, man? This is annoying. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna have to download a new version of BizHot. Just give me a few seconds. I don't know what in the world happened. It was working completely fine. And then now all of a sudden, oh, your version's outdated or something. I don't know what's going on with that, but whatever.
The Hottest Dog.
I'll go and play this wall.
Animations using Source Filmmaker. Many of them
I
have been
figured
turned
this out.
into some of the largest FNAF memes. He's also the most popular FNAF animator, said by the community. He's also created some of his own characters to use in his standalone series, his most popular video being FNAF SFM Lullaby by Dr. Steel. They've also animated some other dank memes. Tryhard Ninja. Tryhard Ninja is a person who creates many songs about different video games. He's most known for his Five Nights at Freddy's songs, his most popular one being It's Me, with over 50 million views. A lot of his songs are made into Minecraft music videos, such as Follow Me and Don't Come Crying. Vanessa and Vanny are separate people. This is neither confirmed or denied, but shown in endings that the person who is in the Vanny suit is similar to Vanessa. It is not confirmed that the person who's actually in the Vanny suit is Vanessa or not. Well, FNAF AR confirmed that Vanny had rainbow streaks in her hair, but Vanessa's pure blonde, so it wouldn't add up. And the statue and the posters released by Funko show Vanny and Vanessa in the same room. It still could be a coincidence, but it could also mean something. Vincent. This is the name given to Purple Guy by fans before it was revealed to be William Afton and the Silver Eyes. Will Trap versus Mike Trap. This is a debate where people think either William is in the Springtrap suit or Michael is in it. People usually bring up the topic of the Final Cutscene's sister location, and the most plausible option is William because of Scrap Trap's name and Ultimate Custom Night is William, but saying this would mean that the other Scrap animatronics would have the dead bodies' names as their names in Ultimate Custom Night, such as Scrap Baby as Elizabeth, Lefty as Charlie, and Michael isn't the fan favorite as there is barely any proof to him. Willy's Wonderland. This is a film that came out in 2021 which starred Nicolas Cage, who is also a producer. People were complaining that it was similar to FNAF as it was being set in a pizza place with killer animatronics, and some of the characters were even changed as they were too similar to actual FNAF characters, like Barry Bear being similar to Freddy, and Pirate Pete being similar to Foxy, and Regina Rabbit was too similar to Bonnie. Withered Balloon Boy and Marionette. These were edits created by someone called Fazboggle, in which they edited Balloon Boy and the Marionette into withered variants, and people were fooled by these and took them as Five Nights at Freddy's 3 leaks. The withered Balloon Boy edit was so popular that the company Just Toys made it as an official dangler toy, and Fazboggle had created them not intended as leaks or to fool anyone, and they were created just for fun. Withered Freddy twerking. A clip commonly paired with a quirky phone call in which Withered Freddy twerks. That's it. Withered Freddy's eyebrow raise. In FNAF Trash.
Well, it's official, guys. I literally ran out of space on my computer. Let me see if emptying my recycle bin helps. All right, that helped. Oh. All right, let me delete. Let me delete. What's it freaking called? Delete. Emu Hawk. Whatever. And delete that. Delete all this. Because it should be in the new thing. The world. I dragged all this to the. I dragged all this to the recycle bin. What's going on? Oh, is that the. Okay, whatever.
Crash Post in general, some made an animation of Withered Freddy mimicking Dwayne Johnson's iconic eyebrow raise. The clip became quite popular and is usually paired with such sounds as the Vine Thud sound effect. Yellow Bear. This was the original name that was in the files of Five Nights at Freddy's 1 before he was given the name from fans, more specifically from Markiplier. The name Yellow Bear was probably going to be used as a similar name to Freddy's original name Freddy Bear, as they bear a similarity with the word bear. Yendo. Yendo is an Easter egg in the 5th installment of the FNAF franchise sister location. It was an Easter egg which could rarely appear in the Funtime Auditorium while trying to stay away from the Funtime Foxy. Yendo is a duplicate endoskeleton model for another Funtime character, Funtime
How do I add it to the...
The only thing that says Yendo apart from Funtime Freddy is his golden
I can't figure it out. Alright, hold on. I'll just put it over here for now and then I'll figure it out later.
U2's merchandise. U2's has created merchandise for the franchise, and they have made minifigures and even figures for fan games.
Alright, well, hopefully I figured it out.
Creation.
I got a newer version of BizHawk, so let's see what happens here. Alright. What is this saying? Use the operator instead. What? I'm so confused. First things first. Let me just mute all that. Alright, so this game is running really badly for some reason. It's saying using bit L.L shift is deprecated. Use the operator instead. I'm not sure what that means. I don't know what that means. me just try loading it again. Click the blue silhouette below for onboarding. I don't even know what that means. Casual. Find that config. Alright. Hopefully whatever I just did fixed whatever I did. I hope. Oh, we don't need to get a new version of the tracker. That'd be annoying. Is that L2 part of Y? What did I have Y set to? I think I had Y set to V. And then X was sent to Z. I might have to swap those around, I'm not sure, but. No, this was V. Was Z select? No, I'm setting space to select, alright. I don't know. I hope I fixed it. I don't know. I don't know. Alright, let me get the game to show up on the... It is not showing up for some reason. I have to use window capture because that's really freaking annoying. Or display capture. I freaking hate that I have to use that instead. No, this emulator's still like broken. This sucks, guys. I'm gonna have to cut the stream short because I don't know what's going on. I really have no clue what's going on, but like this version of BizHawk is broken or something. All right, guys, I'm gonna have to, yeah, I'm gonna have to end this to cut the stream short because I don't know why in the world things just broke down all of a sudden. So sorry about that. Hope you guys have a good day though.